Oh boy. So Andrew Carpenter, 687. I just like to call him AC. Um, he was like, "That's George Washington's birthday." I'm like, "Oh, what? Of course it is. He's the god. When Trump rises on the third day, he becomes the god. And I think it's from iPet Goat. It's a three, if this is the time frame. I'm allowed to pick and choose and change this how I want to. It's my story. I tell it the way I want to, right? So we're always looking at 2 days before a full moon, but if it's 4 days before a full moon, which this would be, you would go down the 20th. The full moon's not till the 24th. Well, so there's layers to the rising in iPet Goat. There's three different characters. So one rises 22nd. The one layer is the 22nd. It's one rising, it's one person getting spiritually possessed by Satan. It's the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. It's the 24th where you see it come up out through that full moon. Well, what full moon is that? That is the snow full moon of February because there's snow everywhere. We do this every year. By the way, Washington, they say, lived. There's Julian calendar, United States, Gregorian, so things are sketchy, maybe. But 24756, 67 years, 9 months, 22 days. So you have your 679, 79 is murder. With 22 days, 22 is murder because the 22nd prime number is 79. 813 months, 22 days, so you have 322 code. I don't know if any of that means anything. I'm just looking at stuff with y'all. But a long time ago, back in 2022, so going on 2 solid years ago, we were looking at all the snow because the snow full moon transfer portal back to the total solar eclipse, right? Yeah, of 2021, of December 4th. And so we were looking at how everything was bouncing off the transfer portal, and that snow full moon, which I believe was on the 16th at the time. It was February 16th bouncing back to December 4th that we were saying he's rising up through the snow full moon. Totally convinced. Now, when you think about 2022, which had the two uh, lunar eclipses, where the midpoint was 88 days apart, because the two total lunar eclipses in 2022 were a perfect 176 days apart. Usually their stuff is 177 days, their eclipses to full moons and so forth, or eclipses to eclipses. It's very, it's very mathematical how all this works. But that was specifically the one on May 16th to, um, it was 88. It was November 8th. And there was also another full moon on 88. There was one on August 11th, which was the day before Sirius, the dog star, rose, and two midpoints of two total solars, two total lunars of August 12th. So August 11th and August 12th. And those were gigantic days in my personal life. Those were the two biggest days in my personal life in years, and hasn't been anything like that since. So 2022 was a gigantic year That was the year of the transfer portal, the 2 total lunars. And what is 2022? It's February 20th, rising on February 22nd. It's 20 down, 22 up, 2022. That's why you have all the 88 symbolism. 2 full moons on 88s, August 11th and November 8th. 8 times 11 and 11 times 8, 88. You had 2 total lunar eclipses, 176 apart. The midpoint is 88 days in both directions, which again came one day after another 88 full moon on August 11th. So we see the snow. We see the snow. We might as well run it from that snow full moon also, but that's the snow. And I guess I should have really slowed that down, huh? It came at us at a fierce pace. Again, there's the snow, Day of the Dead. Snow full moon is the 24th this year. And that's what he's going to come rising up out of, that snow full moon. The cold full moon is December. The wolf full moon is January. The boy who cried wolf. That's me. I'm always saying, hey, today's the day. And there's a snow full moon with all the snow in the air. And out he comes. Revelation 11:7. The dark night rises. He came up out of a pit just like that, minus the snow. And there's his right eye wound. Doesn't mean anything's going to happen, but I've never seen it all like this before. Not the personal ciphers mixed in with their ciphers. Never seen anything like it before. Never seen anything like it before. And there's the full moon. Or what we would suspect to be the full moon. Is it not quite full? Is it 2 days before it? Because he does rise. If he goes down the 20th, he rises on the 22nd. Looks pretty full to me. But again, there's 3 different characters. There's the man in the boat, there's the egghead boy, and him. All 3 are the Antichrist. So if one's the 22nd, the other's the 23rd, and this is the 24th, so be it. Again, making up the rules as I go along, because it's fascinating to try to keep up with everything that they do. So I want to go over everything that started hitting me last night after I made y'all those quick videos, those 3 videos, I mean. The 2 simple gematrias added come to 483, Donald Trump murder. 220 plus 263. Hang on just a second. I can't figure out what this is about. All right, I think that's simple gematria for February 20th and February 22nd. It's 220 and 263. When you add them together, you get 483. 48 is Donald Trump in full reduction, and 83 is murder. I think that one's in, I forget. I'd be guessing. All right, there's a lot here. 220 times 263, 5786. You got your, trust me, there's better stuff in here than this, but it's just stuff I was floating across. You had your 86 in there. The Jewish gematrias. That's all personal ciphers there, but massive personal ciphers. Double midpoint is 79 weeks. So when that double midpoint occurred, when Sirius the dog star rose, on August 12th, 2022. Again, 2022. Going down the 20th, rising on 22nd. It's 1 year, 6 months, 8 days, but it's 18 months, 8 days. So you have your 188, but it's 79 in the weeks. The hours begin with 13:3, along with the 68. And 1 year, 6 months, 8 days. And you're like, well, 68 is rising. This is to the murder day. Right, but it's bouncing off the day Sirius, the dog star, rose. All right. I've got to slide that there. Let's keep going. Billy Napier, the Gator coach, the 7th king of Mystery Babylon, to the 86ing day. If you include both dates, he is 86. 162, 86. That's why he would have gotten the job at Devil's Advocate University for their 7th king representing the Antichrist and all that good stuff. That's pretty cut and dried. That was easy. There's our prime number list. We'll keep that. The transfer, no. Yeah. That's my crisscross date when those two crisscrossed. Y'all remember that? The amount of days apart I was with one was the amount of days the other one was old. They both hit on that same day, 2 days after the transfer portal. Transfer portal, again, it's 110 weeks. That's the Twin Towers. It's 2 years, 1 month, 10 days. That's 110 for Twin Towers. And it's also 110 in the weeks. It's also 110 in the minutes. You have 3 sets of 110. The height of the Twin Towers, 110. That's the transfer portal of time to the day he goes down. Wow. 666. 144 is the seconds. That's Antichrist church, which that's the job of the Antichrist, to cleanse the church. That transfer portal of time, man, that thing is crazy. So we get the Billy Napier thing. Heidi, the Heidi Bowl on 11/17 in the year 1968. It is a direct hit with murder code. It's event 201 with 83 in the days, 201, 83 in the days, 20,183 days, 201 for event 201, and then 83 is murder. Jeez. It's 288, 3 weeks and 2 days. On the rising day, it would be 288. And on the rising day, it's still 2883 in the weeks. Sorry, I'm just waking up. Lastly, the Heidi Bowl, 66 and 33 with the months. 6633, 663 months, 3 days. All this stuff is big in their world. Everything is mathematical. God is a God of math. He had a book of numbers, one of the names of the book in the Old Testament. Everything was mathematically perfectly laid out, the 144,000, everything numeric. 7 letters, 7 churches, 7 candlesticks, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, 7 is the number for cleansing. Everything is numbers and math with God. And so their world is everything with numbers and math, because their world is of God's world. God said, I create evil, I create darkness, I, the Lord, do all these things. So everything is of everything of their world is just, it's the upside down version. It's the evil. It's the Holy Spirit. It's the demonic spirit world. Spirit is what runs the earth, not man. Spirit runs the man. Okay, so you two exit. So our friend with the YouTube channel had who likes to contribute here said that YouTube played the song Exit while they were showing the Trump shooting of Trackdown episode. Literally had the Trackdown episode on their screens while they played this song. This is what he told me. So when I looked at YouTube Exit to our 220 exit date, both dates 135 in the days. Let's take a look at it. One, 3, 4, 9, 7. What do we have to do? We have to go to the rising day and click both dates, and it's a perfect 13,500. 500 is the number for Antichrist and Strong's Concordance. But 135, the 135th prime number, is 761, which is when you add 404 plus 357. I worked at a place that was marked with a 761 and their location number. I don't want to give too many details about it. And I got a date with somebody, a young lady that worked there. I call her young, younger than me. When you're 62, everybody's younger than you. But fascinating because she worked there also. That's how I met her. We're social media friends. And so is that launching off this, again, the 761, which is 404 Daniel verses plus 357. 404 Revelation verses plus 357, the amount of Daniel verses. Do you know how far apart that is on a clock when it's 357 to 404? Perfect 7 minutes. 7, again, the number for cleansing. That's why on Trump's inauguration day, when you include both dates, it was 70 years, 7 months, 7 days. He is here to do 7. 777, Vegas, right? So what was the other? It's 11, it's 1113 code and 313 code. If you don't include both dates to YouTube's exit release date. And it's also murder. Okay, so it's 134.99 in the days. 34 is murder. It's 36 years, 36 number for Adam. Then it's 11 months, 13 days. So you have your 113 code. Then it's 443 months, 13 days, 443, 13 in the months and days. So, wow, it's just everything seems to have everything. Like we like to say, everything everywhere all at once. So that's used two's exit. Then we got track down. The actual track down episode to the day he goes down is 9/11. 9 months, 11 days. What about, well, that's 65 years, 9 months, 11 days. What about just months and days? 7, 8, 9, 11. 789 months, 11 days. You have 9/11 coded twice to the 86ing day. Twice to the 86ing day. That's crazy. No Time to Die was 2 hours, 43 minutes on the rising day. 24030. or 243. If you're wondering how all these numbers stay in my head, it's just gifted to me by the Lord to remember numbers. Going back to my childhood and childhood events from my teenage years on. Spin City, End of the World Judgment Day, 113 code. Oh, yeah, where? On the Rising Day. It's 24 years, 11 months, 30 days. 7888 begins the seconds. 134 is the weeks for murder on the 86ing day and the rising day. It's 1304 in the weeks. 2 days on the rising day, but it's just a perfect 1304 weeks or 134. 34 is murder. That's in the weeks only. November is interesting in that when we look at November, if you just want to look at months, you're going to like this. The 11th month times the year 2023, it was 22253. That's February 22nd, 53rd day. Because February 22nd is the 53rd day of the year. That's all fused together right there. And you're like, well, what about December? December times 2023. 24276. We know what 76 is, don't we? That's Adam. 24 and 42, my two favorite numbers growing up. Yay! January, of course, is just going to be 2024. But what about February? 2, the second month times 2024. 404 for the amount of verses in the book of Revelation, fused with 48, Donald Trump in full reduction. That is so crazy. November was 22253 this year. So if we run this past November 17th to our 86ing day, it's 3 months, 3 days. If you run it to the rising day and include both dates, you have your perfect 98 days for the amount of verses in the book of Revelation to the white horse, but it's 3 months, 6 days. 36 is Adam in Strong's. 36 is Adam in Jewish gematria. If I don't think about what I'm saying, my brain will just rattle off sometimes the wrong stuff. We just showed you the 4048. Nick Saban, their master, Mystery Babylonian. Nick Saban is so heavily coded on the rising day. He's 72 years, 3 months, 22 days. That's 322 code. He's 86 in the months, 867 months old. In the hours, he's 633,888. So he's 33,888 on the rising day. 3803 begins the minutes, which was Earl's address where he was murdered. Yes, Earl was murdered at a 3803, which is 383, which is murder and murder. Murdered by his mother. That got off due to self-defense, but all the numbers, the Lord's telling me he was murdered. That it was murder. Earl 322. Whoa, that's a coincidence. Earl's birthday to the rising day, 23,220 days. That's 322. That lands on the rising day, but you also see the 220 in the day count, which is the day he went down or 2 days previous. Now, I rode by the house that this happened, and I was on the phone with our contributor who's got the Twitter account. And I don't know if I have that on here in my prep. I'll try to remember to get to it at the end if we don't. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Highlander 13868 on full moon day. That's impossible, as you know, because 138 is Donald Trump, 86 means to eliminate, and 68 is the reversal of 86. And you're like, well, what if he goes down on the 22nd? What if he goes down on 222 and rises up through the full moon? Well, great. We were off 2 days, but there's too much. There's too much to this 220. I don't know, but you never know. So the Highlander movie release date, or one of them, it was on March 7th, 1986. Of course, 86, the Highlander. It's 13866 days. Remember, on page 1386, 138 is Donald Trump in simple gematria. 86 means to eliminate. This is fascinating. If you go up to the snow full moon, not only is he 13868, but it's 37. I said the movie. It's 37 years, 11 months, 17 days. It's 1117 code along with 11.7 code for rising. It's the 86. You see, Zechariah 11:17 has Revelation 11:7 in it. There's a 1117, and inside of that is a 117. So this Highlander to the snow full moon is just utter perfection. And how it has 138, 86, 68, 1117, 11:7, all in it. 37 years, 11 months, 17 days, 455 months, 17 days. 455's first 3 digit of my anomaly person, born October 28th, 1973, where we have that mathematical anomaly of rotating numbers in the middle every 16 years, every other year. I've shown you all that many times. If you want to see it, ask for it in the comments. I'll show it again. Guess I can show it now. Starting in 2005, when I met her, we were on the last 2 years of 626, 126 rotation. Then starting in 2007, when we got married, it turned into 627, 127, 627, 127 for 16 years. And it just flipped to 628. In 2024, it goes to 128. It'll be 628. That goes on to infinity. I've looked centuries in both directions. And she's born on the Gateway Arch date. Bill Gates, 1028. The Gateway Arch was opened on 1028. That's why Bill Gates has a birthday of 1028. It's that Gateway Arch. Remember that Gateway Arch had a lunar eclipse this year. It also transferred portals to March 25th, which is a lunar eclipse this year. Do you know how rare that is? That you have 2 lunar eclipses transfer portaling back and forth. We're in the middle of it right now. October 28th to March 25th. This all would fit inside of that. Do you want to look at the days in both directions? We can do that. Well, it's 34 from one lunar eclipse and 115 from another lunar eclipse. 34 is murder. 34 times 115. and you go to the rising day, (117). Did you just see that? The Gateway Arch lunar eclipse to the 11/7 Revelation 11/7 day of his rising on 2/22 is 11/7 days. And it says 3 months, 25 days. And March 25th is the day of the other lunar eclipse that it transfer portals over to. October 28th, transfer portals over to May 25th. I think it's 54 days in both directions. If I showed you real quick, if we go transfer portal of time, the original was 2022. It was January 10th. And it's 74 days in both directions. So when you add 74, it's March 25th. When you subtract 74, it's October 28th. So they transfer a portal back to each other. And that still goes on today. Like I think if we say 771, hang on. With the leap year, it might throw it off. March 25th, 2024, 805 days up through the portal, subtract it through the portal. Nope, still lands on it, October 28th, 2019. So what are the chances that the lunar eclipse of the Gateway Arch Day of 10/28/2023 to the day he rises is 11/7 days, and it's 3 months, 25 days, which is March 25th coded, which is its opposite transfer portal date, which also is a lunar eclipse this year. Did y'all see the supernaturality in all this? Insanity. Anyway, that's just mind blowing to me. I'm taking breaks, messaging people on the old social media, waking up here. I love waking up and just diving into a video. Highlander, take flight, 9-5. Remember the take flight in Skyfall? When he looked at his phone, it said 226, take flight. So, of course, February 26th is, again, it's just more of the same of what's coming in February. And first, it's all their rituals with Groundhog Day and Super Bowl. And didn't we say the Grammys were somewhere in this frame of, I don't know, late January or February? UFC 298, Daytona 500. So Highlander had another release date on 8/29/1986. It's 1/369. Their big numbers are 369. So this would be the rising day. So that makes big total sense. In the weeks, though, it is 1955, which was on Bond's phone. And the fact that they would tie everything back to the Highlander movies is perfection. From James Bond bouncing off the Highlander. So what the AI would have seen, or what the fallen angels would have noticed, is that there's 1955 in the weeks. So they put that clock. They had his phone on military time, and it said 1955 was the time and it said flight 226. We can look at that again. EWA flight 226, 9 p.m. And they're telling him that at 7:55 p.m. or 1955. 1955 is coded for when he takes flight. The flight is the 22. Now, don't forget my number is 7 times 6 times 1961. It divides perfectly by 37. 2, 2, 2, 6. February 22nd. And the 6 has always been symbolic for, I don't want to get into it, but that could just be the 22 and then what the 6 is symbolic for. I had my theory. I've shared them before, my theories on what the 6 and the 9 mean by their shapes. And it says 36 in Adam when the weeks. Yeah, the days have the 36, which is Adam. But their big numbers are 3, 6, and 9, and it's 1, 3, 6, 9, 1. So there's a 1 bookending the 3 and the 6 and the 9. So they would have release dated that movie perfectly to fit. And of course, that was a big death in our family on August 29th in 2022. And they have it on that date. That's just a coincidence, I'm sure. Also, Highlander, 7/11, 11/7, 11/60. I think I've already done this. Yeah. Oh, so there was another date of 3/7. So it was 3/9, 3/7, and then 8/29, all in 1986. So I don't know. Maybe that's the same one. I can't remember. Let's just move on. We get it. The Highlander's big. Maggie Gyllenhaal. She represents Eve because her birthday is on November 16th, which is the eve of 11/17. Her birthday is 11/16. So the reason why she's in Donnie Darko and The Dark Knight, the only person who is she represents Eve, or that divine feminine. So we're going to now run her to the eve of the rising. It's 168, 98. 68 is the reversal of 86. 98th verse is White Horse verse. So she is representing the eve of him getting his crown. If you run her to the rising date of the 22nd, she still is 168, 99. 3 months, 6 days. So it's 36 Adam coded. 36 is Adam in Jewish gematria, which I always say is the more spiritual version. So this 168 is a reversal of 86, and it's on his rising day, and that's what she comes to. That's fascinating. Heath Ledger is 116 code and 38 code. Heath Ledger's birth to the 86ing day. Trump's numbers is 163464 when you multiply them out, and this is 16393. What was it I was supposed to look for? Oh, he's 538 months. So he's got murder code in his months, and he's 44 years, 10 months, 16 days old. Yes, he's still alive. That was a fake staged. That was his swan song. Then he had a movie after that that had more Illuminati symbolism than you can shake a stick at. 44 years, 10 months, 16 days. 1016 is 116. 116 is backwards and upside down 9/11. They love the 116 on the marquee of Back to the Future. Fahrenheit 119. There's Fahrenheit 9/11 and Fahrenheit 119. 119 is Donald. 9/11 represents his rising. 11/7. Let's look at everything. So we've got the movie. And we've got the date. Let's click both. The movie came out on September 6th at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, but its worldwide release was September 21st. September 21st, transfer portals over to May Day, May 1st. It's a big day. Do you remember the 21st night of September? That is all about their esoteric world that we discovered through the transfer portal. 120 minutes long. 120 is Adam in Strong's Concordance, Old Testament. When you run the September 21st to the rising day, 1980. 98, of course, is the white horse verse of Revelation, the 98th verse. If you run it to the 86ing day, it's 1978, which I told you is the church. If you include both dates of Fahrenheit 11.9, 2 is 86ing day, it is a perfect 1979. 19 is Adam in simple gematria. 79 is murder. Adam is murdered. He is the Black Adam. Adam murdered on 2/20, according to that movie. We are allowed to include both dates. .348, The Apprentice. Remember, 34 is murder. .48 is Donald Trump. Full reduction, murder, 34. Full reduction, Donald Trump, 48. When you have the fusion of 348, that's Donald Trump murder, or murder Donald Trump. There we go. Well, scroll bar doesn't want to work. 718 murder code, or rising, or 79, or 718, depending on how you want to slice all these up. Let's go. So the apprentice began. On the rising day, it falls to a perfect 7/220. 220 is 86ing day. 7 is the number for cleansing. Perfect for his rising day. That's mind-blowingly fascinating. When you run it to the full moon, it's 7/222, which represents the day he rose. But then it's on that full moon 2 days later. If you run what all are we looking at here? Let's go back to The Apprentice. Hang on just a second. This is Fahrenheit 9/11. I wanted to make sure what I was looking at. It's not The Apprentice. This is the Fahrenheit 9/11 dates. There's 2 of them. May 17th at Cannes, and then June 25th, United States. So there's your June 25th, the opposite of Christmas. And here's your May 17th. It's the May 17th that has the 7/220, which is just fascinating that they did that. And then it's 7181 days to the rising day. 718 represents Porsche 911, Porsche 718. The Dark Knight came out on 718. The Dark Knight Rises came out on 720. So it's all that perfect stuff that they did there. If you run it to the 86ing day. It's 7/1/79. 79 is murder in simple gematria for Fahrenheit 9/11. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect the way they did that, all that. That's why I said depending on how you want to move about, it's everything. The Apprentice 348. The Apprentice came out on January 8th, 2004. To the 86ing day, it is a perfect 7/348. Again, 34 murder, 48 Donald Trump in full reduction, both of them. It is a direct lock, a perfect match. 7/348. 7 again, the number for cleansing. This is just like utter fascination, brilliance. It looks like more of the same. I don't know if I got confused, kept making the same email, or this is something we've already been over. I think it's, yeah. So I have a lot of enemies out there. This may be the last time you see me for a while. That was on 86, August 6, 86, August 6, 2020. Okay. It's got 1117 that begins the seconds. So the AI did that perfectly. So on the 1117 day of 220, there's 1117 in the seconds. When he made that statement, the minutes begin with 186. And it's 3 years, 6 months, 14 days. That's his birthday, 6/14. So they really did it up there very cryptically, but there's 3 different hits on that. 3 different hits on that. 39 progressions of 37. 3/11, 2020 is 39 progressions of 37. It's an exact hit on the rising day. It also comes to the church 144 on the days, 144.3. If you click both dates like we've already done, it's 144.4. And you still have the 3/11. It's 3 years, 11 months. It moves to 12 days. 12 is number for the church. So when you include both dates from 3/11, it's 144.4. 144 fused with 444. 37 is the 12th prime number. 12 is number for the church. But when you progress the 37 out 12 times to kind of double down on it being the church, it comes to 444, which was the Little League baseball team I played for. Teamsters 444. We've shown you that. They were out of Haines City. And it changes to 3 years, 11 months, 12 days. So you still have your 3/11 code from 3/11 with the 12 days. 12 is number for the church. 444 is number for the church. 144 is number for the church. It's fascinating the way this is all laid out. His descent down the escalator, 761 is in the hours. That's the amount of combined verses of Daniel and Revelation, 404 plus 357. That's in the hours. And 888.4-888 for the full moon. This is when he descended down the escalator, which represented his death, his descent into the earth. On 220, it's 8 years, 8 months, 4 days. On his rising, it turns into 8 years, 8 months, 6 days. So it's like descent, 886, on the rising day. 868% of a common year, 868.77% of a common year. 76104 in the hours. On the rising day, when he descended, 3173. The full moon on the 24th, 3175. And we know that 175 is Revelation 17:5, mystery, Babylon the Great, all capitalized. It's 8 years, 8 months, 8 days. And you have Revelation 17:5 coded at 3,175 days. From his descent to the snow full moon. This is just, it's everything, everywhere, all at once. The year 2022 is the 20th to the 22nd. We've talked about that. Trump wearing the mask for the first time on 7/11, which represents rising, Revelation 11:7, 279 and 311, 7/11 rising. Boy, 311 and 7/11 on rising day. Okay, let's click it and see what I'm talking about. When Trump donned the mask, first of all, it's 1319. There's that 319 code. We know our friend March 19th that has a 11.3, the 138, the 38, the 88, and the 86, all in our 6-digit number. 3 years, 7 months, 9 days. You have 79 for murder on the 86th murder day from when he donned the mask. If you move that wearing the mask to the rising day, it turns into 3 years, 7 months, 11 days, 7/11 code. Perfect. 188 in the weeks. Either day. The 86ing day, it's 188 in the weeks. Matter of fact, it's perfect murder. If you go to back to the 20th from when he donned the mask, it's 188 weeks, 3 days. 1883. 83 is murder. 88 is Trump. In various gematria ciphers. That's it. Mind-blowing. There's way more to do. And I forget what it was. There was something I said I was going to do. Oh, did you know that the song Pink Floyd Time bounces off one of these dates, the 86ing or the murder? And Bruce Buffer saying it's time, which is what he's famous for, connects to both these dates. I mean, connects to the other date. So Pink Floyd Time, when that alarm clock goes off, time, it's time, Pink Floyd, alarm clock goes off. That's a direct hit on February 20th. And then the rising day, Bruce Buffer's birthday, he's the one that yells, "It's time" at the UFC events. That's on the rising day. So I have a lot of enemies out there as a direct hit. Calm Before the Storm is a direct hit. Gettysburg Address is a direct hit. Dog Day Afternoon is a direct hit. Bruce Buffer, It's Time. These are all direct hits on the rising day. Or is this direct hits on the 86ing day? July 18th. In between, it's Serena, the flag falling at the Olympics. Goldeneye. October 2nd, 2001, just for giggles. OJ Bronco Chase. So I have a lot of work to do here. The founding date of the WHO, the World Health Organization. All these are direct hits, either on the day, the day in between, or the rising day. Day of the event, day between, or the rising day. Thor, Love, and Thunder. Again, he rises on Thursday, on Thor Day, which is 2/22. The El Portal movie marquee for Licorice Pizza. The movie marquee said El Portal. It was called the El Portal Movie Theater. It had two movies. It had Live and Let Die and The Mechanic. The Mechanic's movie poster is a sniper with a rifle and a scope. It came out on 11/17. Yeah, this is February 20th. These all are the 86ing day. Thor, Love, and Thunder because he rises on that day. Then the day after the 86ing day, it's the flag fell, Serena, London Olympics. Goldeneye. OJ Bronco Chase. Hitler death, World Health Organization. And then on the rising day, it's I have a lot of enemies out there. You may not see me for a while. Calm before the storm, Gettysburg Address, all day afternoon, Bruce Buffer, It's Time, Day of the Dead. Release date, March 11th, like we showed you, 2020. It's 39 perfect progressions. I also looked at George Floyd Day. Guess we can do that real quick. So George Floyd was 5/25, 2020. If you run that to 220, it's 1366. 36, Adam. You have 13. 36, which is Adam in Jewish gematria. Fused with 66, Book of Revelation. You have 3 months, you have 3 years, 8 months. That's 38 for murder. This is all on the murder day. On the rising day, you then get 3 years, 8 months, 28 days. But you get 1368. 68 is a reversal of 86. So the George Floyd incident to the rising day gives you 68 in the days. For 68 is the reversal of 86. That means he's no longer dead, no time to die. James Bond, Die Another Day. That 68 on the rising day is fused with 36 for the Black Adam. Madonna had a song called Die Another Day. Song Die Another Day, Madonna, Wikipedia. Madonna sang it. It came out October 22nd, 2002. That's 2/2/2/2. The length is on Wikipedia, 438, for murder. October 22nd, 2002. October 22nd, 2002. You have 79 murder code. All right, this is really good. So it's 187 in the hours. It's 1113 in the week. So you have 11/3. 187 begins the hours. But the days are 7/7/93. On the 86ing day, it's 7/7/91. So you have murder either way. But on the rising day, it's 21 years, 4 months even. And we've told you 214 is the 214th verse of the book of Revelation, is Revelation 13:3, which is the first time deadly wound is mentioned, along with did live, which has to do with the 86ing and then the rising. kind of encompasses both events. It's a perfect 21 years, 4 days. $187 in the hours. If you go to the 86ing day, the hours change to 186. Still have 113 in the weeks, still have 79 murder in the days. Die another day. Madonna. No Time to Die. Billie Eilish. No Time to Die song, Billie Eilish, Wikipedia. Released February 13th. 2 days after the Super Bowl. That's when we kick off Lupercalia, 13th, 14th, 15th, which is what Valentine's is based off of, pagan-wise. February 13th, of course, 2020. February 13th, 2020. $48 months, 9 days. 48 is Donald Trump in full reduction. So if you go to the 86ing day, as it's 48 months again still for Donald Trump, but look at the days. 1468, which is my parents' old phone number. 1468. In other words, no time to die. He's got a 68. There's no time to 86. He has to 68. So on the 86ing day, they're saying it's the 1468. The 14, FOR, 4, not the number 4. It's the 1 for 68. The 86ing day is the 1 for 68 because the song is saying that. There's no time to die. There's no time to be 86. You have to 68. So the release date to the song to the 86ing day is 1468. That's the language we speak. It's a language I've been speaking for years, and it's the language that fits all of this stuff. Rightly or wrongly. Langley Field. All right, that's a lot. This is video number 4 on the playlist. Make sure you watch all 4 on the playlist. At this channel, Telling Truth 2, and I think I've got the same thing at Telling Truth Archives. This is so big, I've put it on 2 of my platforms, my old platform and the current. So you go to the playlist, and there it is. 3 videos strong. This will be the 4th one. If you go to Telling Truth Archives, same. I'll add it to both. All right, glad y'all are here. Thank you, Andrew, and everybody else contributing. Love y'all.